All right, cool. And did you guys get a chance to watch Swept Away?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I
wow.
did not watch the BMW ads again.
Wow, wow, wow.
We'll discuss that.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will.
Oh my god.
Episode 426 of the TV Dudes, recorded March 9th, 2023. True Lies. This week, we're talking about True Lies on Paramount Plus. And we've got a dessert-heavy episode this week as we talk about the finale of Poker Face, the second episode of Party Down, and the penultimate episode of Last of Us, along with the latest episode of The Mandalorian. Plus, we've got all our TV diaries. Before we get to all that, though, I'm Randy.
I'm Les.
And I'm Nick, and I don't feel so... I think I had too much dessert this week. I don't feel so good.
It might have been just... It might actually be effects of you watching Swept Away on for our Patreon.
That's also
That's
very,
true, that's-
very possible.
It's very much a sickening thing.
Oh.
And
Dude, I was not ready for that movie.
I know. No, I thought I was. I thought I would be.
I also, yeah.
Yeah. Everybody should tune into Patreon. Sure is going to be an exciting 15 minutes of what the fuck.
All right. Let's start with TV diaries, and why don't you all kick it off?
All right, well, I'll go first. I watched Parks and Rec, 30 Rock, of course, Poker Face, which we'll discuss. Kept up on Night Court, which is still adorable. Nick and I went and saw Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear.
Oh my god, I was unprepared for spoilers. Sorry, Margot Martindale has the best kill in that movie.
Yes.
Holy fuck!
I watched the pitch meeting for Cocaine Bear today, and it seemed to be that.
Oh, there's a pitch meeting?
It seemed to be that there was a lot of humaning in Cocaine Bear.
Oh, you would be surprised for a movie called Cocaine Bear.
Yeah. That delivered on exactly what I wanted. That was a wonderful movie. Holy crap. Then, of course, speaking of crap, watch Swept Away. Also watched the live action Aladdin, which led us to watch immediately after the animated Aladdin. There's no comparison.
I mean, that's
holy god.
At least that's the right order to do
If
it.
you
Because
ever wanna-
I thought you'd watch the animated one first. I'm like, oh man, that is setting yourself up
No,
for
that
failure.
was like no.
Could you imagine if you ever want to
Do it again slower and boring.
save yourself film school, guys, and just watch those two movies and go, oh, well, here's how you make that good.
Right.
Well-
The difference is that's how you do it right.
We'll talk about this more on Patreon. But I saw Aladdin in the theater. I had fun with it. I actually really liked it. And rewatching it, I don't like it. I didn't hate it as much as Les did. But I did, as I was watching it, realize I'm like, oh god, this movie's well over 2 hours long, and it's not that great. Oh no, Les is gonna hate this.
We also watched Digstown, which is a spectacular movie.
Hell yeah.
An absolute bastard. James Woods is a psychotic monster in real life, it seems.
So I was gonna say, and what does he play in the movie?
But he plays a con man, and he's incredibly fucking captivating. I don't know what it is about crazy people. They're fucking
I mean,
electric on screen.
Usually, us liberals, we get the pick of the cream of the crop for actors. We don't have to really the douchebags usually are terrible actors anyway, but every once in a while you get a James Wood and you're like, God damn it.
Yeah, that reminds me.
You got to be you.
Tom Sizemore died recently, and that guy was an abusive piece of shit. But what a great actor.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Pretty good though.
Yeah. So Digstown with of course Oliver Platt. Nick realized he had not seen an amazing Oliver Platt movie where they pull a huge boxing con with Lou Gossett Jr. on the town.
We had the whole Oliver Platter.
Yes. Yeah. So we watched Digstown, and then to complete the Oliver Platter, we watched Ready to Rumble with
Jimmy King,
David Arquette, and Scott Conn, and
David Arquette and Scott Conn being opposite sides of actual so this is what you'd do if you'd actually made a movie with actual insane people.
Wow,
right? Arquette's just nuts, man.
David Arquette and Scott Conn on a movie set, that had to have been a crazy set.
Oh man, they do outtakes right at the end, and it looks Rose McGowan is also in it.
Oh my god!
She's unamused.
David Arquette is breaking during the scene, and he's laughing and having a lot of fun, and Rose McGown is not.
Yeah, it's a scene where he's supposed to say something about her tits, and he just can't keep it together. And she's at him around oh.
Yeah,
she looks like
it's not an act. She's
oh no.
They need to add Jake Busey to that cast,
right?
Also, the outtakes, not that they're the best part. The whole movie is pretty fun, but Oliver Platt really punched
Oh god.
Randy Macho Savage.
Yes, this is actually a WCW backed movie or something like that, and so they've got real wrestlers like
Yes.
Diamond Dallas Page and Sting, and Macho Man Randy Savage actually wrestles Oliver Platt at one point, and yeah, in the outtake you could like Platt hits him in the face, and immediately like whoa 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 I'm sorry.
He goes, the line is last, he goes, "Oh shit, Randy." It was like, oh, that's not. That was he hit him. He hit him for real.
Yeah, it's great.
Oliver Platt thinks he's about to get his ass kicked by Randy Savage.
Like just there's a moment of like, I'm dead.
Oh shit!
This is how I die. I die a hero. Yeah. So we also I picked up a month subscription to Night Flight. Randy, do you remember Night Flight? The precursor to USA Up All Night.
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah. Okay.
So they have a streaming service, which is not a great app. It's not super stable, but they have a streaming, like a legit streaming service on Roku or whatever streaming stick thing you use. And it is both like selections from like a bunch of the trashy movie re-release companies like Arrow and Vinegar Syndrome and Severin and all these that put out exploitation movies. A ton of music docs about different bands, weirdly.
Yeah.
And then this is their most ingenious move. Entire episodes with commercials from Night Flight, the original.
Oh wow.
So like just a chunk out of USA in the Middle of the Night from 1981, and they give the date. And so like it'll just like cut to an interview with Ray Harryhausen. And then like back to a Black Sabbath video, and then some fucking crazy 80s trash movie. We ended up watching the tail end of The Love Witch from a few years ago, but we watched all of just throwing it on like Night Flight Live.
Red Scorpion.
We watched Red Scorpion with Dolph Lundgren.
Wow.
Oh man, that movie's backstory, just go look it up on Wikipedia, is more interesting than the entire movie. Jack Abramoff is the producer of it. The Indian casino or native casino fiasco a few years ago that went to jail, I think is played in a movie by Spacey, maybe? They made a movie about Jack Abramoff. Anyway, he's the producer on it, and they made it in apartheid era South Africa and were protested because of doing that. Like they should not have been shooting there. And like it's just a complete fluke that the movie came out. Like it's just absolutely nuts. And yeah, the whole thing is just insane. They're using like most of the soldiers in this Dolph Lundgren war movie are actual active duty South African military at the time. And almost all of the Russian hardware that they use is just captured shit that they were loaned from the South African army. And so like they blow up a bunch of Russian tanks and crap, and it's like just literally a Russian tank that they captured off Russians and then loaned to a movie. It is the weirdest Dolph Lundgren movie. That's not true. There are weirder Dolph Lundgren movies. It's pretty weird though.
Watched, come on, there's I Come in Peace.
Oh, that's true. I watched the new episode of Ghosts, which continues to be just a wonderful show. Of course, we watched True Lies, which we'll discuss. Watched an episode of Not Dead Yet, which we'll discuss. I'll let Randy talk about. Because of finishing out Poker Face, I watched a few episodes of Columbo, including the first episode of Columbo, which was directed by a young Steven Spielberg. That kid's going places.
Oh wow. Yeah, I kept seeing Columbo pop up after. It's just like after Quantum Leap. It's like every episode of Quantum Leap, they're like, "Hey, you want to watch the original Quantum Leap?" And I'm like, "No, but also kind of yes." Like I don't quite do it.
Also kind of yes.
Wrong. Yeah. It's very slick. Poker Face is doing it right by suggesting everybody Columbo. It's really fun.
Peacock also suggested the Child's Play series after we watched Megan.
Yeah.
They're like their algorithms on point.
Times where Amazon feels cold random.
Yes.
The next movie it picks is just bizarre.
Oh, it is random. Yeah. Well, they can't do an algorithm. They're spending all that money on the quality content at Prime.
Right.
You know.
Right. Of course, watched. Then Nick and I also watched Booth at the End, a few episodes of that, which is a Xander Berkeley like web series. It's got just a kind of weird cast. I think it was a web series. They're 22-minute episodes. They're 2 seasons, 5 episodes each, and they're all in like a single location. There's this dude in a booth in this diner who can grant basically miracle wishes.
Yeah.
And like so, but it has the feeling of like seeing a loan shark. Like, you know, you're doing a Faustian deal here.
Oh yeah.
And but the thing is, like, you ask for a thing that you like, you tell him the thing you want, he flips through the book and is like, okay, you've got to rob a bank.
Yeah.
And like gives a specific dollar amount, and then like
No matter what they ask him to, it's in there.
yeah,
One chick, the nun says, "I want to hear God again," and he looks through the book. You got to get
Okay,
pregnant.
you gotta get
How is that already in there?
yeah, and but at the same time, like, so I need to bring you the money. No, I don't give a shit about the money.
No, I just need you to steal
have
it.
to do it though, and like, well, how will you know? Like, because it'll happen. Like,
Oh,
he
wow.
is absolutely the middleman in this. Like, he's not granting the wishes, and he
Well, he can call people on their bullshit, like, "Hey, I detonated the bomb," or I shot the guy, I killed the guy," and he's like, "No, you didn't."
Like,
What?
how do you know? Because you'd have the thing if you
If you already did. Like, the other end of the deal is not his end of the part. He just knows that, like, nah, if you did it, it would have
And
worked.
of course, people come back with like, well, I can't do that. And like, look,
Then don't.
nothing that I've ever given or like, well, I'm incapable of doing that. Like, no, I've never, there's not a task that's ever been that I've ever handed somebody that they couldn't do. So I know you can do it. Well, I don't want it. Cool. Then don't.
Then don't.
I don't want the thing you want. Don't do it then. That seems insane. Why would you do that?
Yeah, there's no consequence for backing out. It is just like, then don't. I don't care.
It's a really simple, small, incredibly well acted. Like, Xander Berkeley kills it.
So good in it.
And yeah, absolutely, we're seeing it's on like Freevee and Tubi. The ads in it are really jarring and weird, but yeah, good show, really simple, nicely shot. I think Adam Arkin directs the second season. I can't remember who directs the first, but they're really nicely done. And then, of course, I watched Daisy Jones and the Six, which I'll just go ahead and discuss here. I think I'm the only one that watched it. So this book was hugely popular. It's a very almost famous. It's the story. It's a fictionalized, basically the story of Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks. It isn't their story, but if you were trying to pick two actors, like if you're trying to pick the band that Stillwater is and Almost Famous, like that's basically who Daisy and Billy are. And so far it's got a real I mean, they're nailing this Laurel Canyon vibe. I think Jackson Brown is one of the music supervisors on it. So like the songs are right of that era. I really wanted it to be faster not as laconic. It's the era they're doing and the vibe and everything. I see why it is exactly the pace it is, but also I wanted it to be a little more exciting.
For what little I've watched of it is the testimonials they're getting.
Mm-hmm.
They really fucking slow everything down.
They really do. And but the book is also this conglomeration of like kind of World War Z style, like this backstory of this band, like picking up the pieces afterwards. And so I'm glad the show did it. Like, I had not read the book, but Fanny watched it with me. Was super excited about seeing it. She wasn't fully let down. Like she was really worried that like, oh God, this could be a trash fire. And it's not that, but it's not the show she wanted. We're still definitely watching it. I liked it enough. I'm going to keep watching it, but I could tell that it was not as exciting as the book. And the book did great. Apparently, it was a huge bestseller. But the book does that same testimonial documentary, put it back to kind of premise and or setup. And I could tell that that was one of the things where she was like, "Oh, thank God they didn't ditch that and like fully break what set the book apart a little bit."
Okay.
But I also watched a fuckload of Nashville, which there's no way Fanny would have put up with. So I was sitting down to it of like, okay, even if it's a trash fire, I'm probably gonna like this more than she. Like, I'm at least gonna be more tolerant of this being a cheese fest. My fear in it going in was that it was gonna be CW or Freeform.
Okay.
And it's not that.
Okay. I heard the music.
I will say
I heard
it's
the
not
music
that.
was good. I heard the songs were pretty good.
I think so. It's got a real. I wanted it to be more Almost Famous, and it feels a little more Stars Born.
Okay. Yeah.
In a like, oh, this is a little sadder and more boring.
Yeah.
My favorite people in the thing so far are like the other band members. The drummer is fucking great. Like, every time he's telling a story, like, oh yeah, but I was coming off 4 days of mushrooms right then, so like all his stories just trail like, oh yeah, that's their drummer. Yeah, but so far it's fun. It's I've seen some reviews of it that are like fucking scathing.
Mm-hmm.
And I challenge those people to watch worse television because it's not that bad. and really the music being decent is a huge part of it for me. Really stunned that I like the band. Kind of for that it gives that Almost Famous vibe. I will say by the end of any given episode, you're going to want to go watch Almost Famous or That Thing You Do, or so, like it's going to remind you of a better version of
Yeah.
this,
Mm-hmm.
and that's unfortunate.
And we'll get to that when we talk about our main course for the week. But yeah, I'm familiar with that kind of thing. All right.
And I think that's that's all my TV diaries.
So
Yeah.
I watched episode 3 and 4 of Picard, which Picard continues to be uneven, but when it's good, it's really good. It's doing some interesting stuff. They brought in the Changelings from Deep Space Nine, which dovetails nicely with my Deep Space Nine rewatches. I'm like in the middle of the Dominion War stuff, and so that was kind of cool to see this like a direct follow up to the Deep Space Nine stuff. And their guy who is like they brought in this guy who's the captain of the Titan now, which is Will Riker's ex ship, and the guy is Jack Shaw, and he's this real grumpy dude. And in the first episode, you just kind of hated him because he basically wouldn't do. He's disrespecting Picard and Riker. Like he invites them to dinner in his cabin, and he's already eating when they get there. Like he just has no time for them. He shuts them down. He tells them he's not putting up with the shenanigans. He's basically an asshole the whole time. He is a complete dick. But as time goes on, he's more and more entertaining, and he's like he is in this shitty situation. And you're like, oh, this guy's a dick, but he's not wrong. And it is a weird, it's a fun character to see in a Star Trek. Like you don't see a lot of captains that are assholes who don't turn out to be from the mirror universe. And I'm kind of
well, I mean, the Star Trek's all about the hey, we can all get along type.
This guy's
deal,
this guy's a dick, and he's kind of an entertaining dick, and he's got a little bit of that Roy Kent vibe. If Roy Kent was a starship, starship,
that's great because honestly, like a meritocracy that's built on cordial respect is gonna let some
fucking
antisocial pricks rise. To the top.
And you start to see this latest episode. They revealed that the reason he hates Picard so much is he was a lowly engineer on a ship at Wolf 359, and he was one of like 10 people who got randomly selected to survive from his crew, and basically everybody else died because Picard was with the Borg. And so like, oh shit, this is worse than what happened to Sisko losing his wife. Like this guy, they were like, he's like,
I'd hate Picard. I would never trust Picard.
He's like, dude, it was a great moment because he's telling the story to Seven while he's basically fixing their engines. And he's like, yeah, we were all friends. None of us were going to sacrifice the other. We were all going to go down together. And then some senior officer comes in and starts pointing at us and says, you go on the get on the. He's like, I would want 10 people to escape that ship. Everybody else, all my friends died. And he's like, do you know where Picard was?
Wow.
He was on that Borg cube killing all my friends. I was like, God damn.
Yeah, that's some good backstory though.
Yeah,
that's good.
It's
like you
pretty
said,
great.
when it's on, it's on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And their stuff with the Changelings is really good. The stuff they're doing with Geordi LaForge's daughter is really good. Like it's surprisingly good this season. Like I think a lot of people are loving it more than I am, but I do think it's far and away the best of the Picard seasons. And also, you don't have to watch the other seasons because nothing connects to anything. So, it's basically its own show.
Dude, I gotta say, every time you talk about Picard, I'm like, I watched half of the first season, and it does not sound like the show you are describing in any way.
It is not remotely the same show anymore. I feel like I think the creative team must have changed entirely too. Like it's totally different. I watched a bunch more of Deep Space Nine. I watched the latest Bad Batch. Actually, I'm one behind on Bad Batch. Watched Shrinking, which I continue to think between Shrinking, Poker Face, and Last of Us, I think we've already seen 3 of the best shows of 2023. I am very much in love with Shrinking. I also watched a couple episodes of Cougar Town because of Shrinking, because it's got Krista Miller and it's got a Cougar Town vibe, and that's a good show. I watched the latest episode of Ghosts. I was pleasantly surprised Grand Crew came back for season 2.
I saw that on your thing and was like, holy shit, is it back?
Yeah,
all right.
It is back. I will say, first episode back is not their strongest.
Oh, okay.
But they are having to do a lot of heavy lifting to get people back into the show, and there's a lot. They left off this cliffhanger of like one of the lead characters is getting married to somebody else, and it's not the strongest Grand Crew episode, but it is still fun. It was good to see the characters again. So
that's funny because I forgot about Grand Crew because after we watched that, we watched Bust Down.
Bust
Down,
that's
right?
What
I was just thinking. It was like Bust Down was so much more in my.
But nobody,
so much, but
nobody from Grand Crew died and rendered it impossible to film anymore.
Yeah.
So I guess we get more Grand Crew, man.
Yeah,
I'll tell you,
which is better than nothing.
Yeah.
Shit.
I watched the latest Last Week Tonight, which had the opening bit is all about Ron DeSantis and how fucking awful he is, and it was
Ron DeSanctimonious.
Another good terrible episode. And the second part, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Radiant Plumbing here in Austin. I've seen their trucks around. I
Mhm.
didn't know anything about them. Apparently, these guys make insane movie parody commercials wherein the plumbers are the Avengers, or they did a dead-on parody of Dune where the worm at the end is a toilet.
Oh God.
They did a Terminator riff where they were all Terminators doing their worst Schwarzenegger accents, and John Miller found all this, showed a bunch of it, fell in love with it, and offered them $10,000 to make a movie. He's like, look, we will donate. We'll give you a budget. We'll give you a script, and we'll donate $10,000 to Central Austin Food Bank. Here's the thing: you don't get to see what it is. You just have to say yes, you're going to make it, and we're going to give you the script. So,
that's the same deal he made with the other like commercial he did. Yeah.
they're almost certainly going to do it, and it's going to be glorious. I cannot wait to see what it is.
Yes.
It's gonna be amazing. What a great season ender for Oliver.
But no, it's 30 episodes in. He's still
No, but I mean, I assume they're gonna
for the
trot that
finale,
back
yeah.
out.
Oh, for the finale.
You're right.
Oh,
You're
yes.
right. Yeah.
Hey, remember that
Yes.
set in motion?
But
Here you go.
anyway, go look up Radiant Plumbing on YouTube. Go watch that Dune parody. Go watch the Terminator parody. These guys are fucking geniuses of making bad
I know what my
commercials.
night is gonna be.
I rewatched Chef just kind of on a whim. Always a good movie. Captain Quantum Leap. I know less couple of behind, so I won't say. But there's a big guest star in this latest one that I really enjoyed.
Cool.
And then along with
Oh,
our
boy.
two Guy Ritchie movies, I went to the theater and saw Operation Fortune Ruse de Guerre, which is another Guy Ritchie movie.
I love how you say the whole thing every time.
You have to. You have to.
Do
By law. He's shot in the head from behind.
damn, okay.
And it's fun. I will say the trailer promised the movie was different than the movie I got. It feels much more like the Men of Wrath version of Guy Ritchie. It wasn't quite Guy Ritchie enough for me.
Oh, don't say that.
But it doesn't feel. It's more close to his Man from U.N.C.L.E. stuff, but it's not as stylish and fun because Man from U.N.C.L.E. was like 60s period piece. This is modern day Spies, but this is like, they're like they considered Guy Ritchie for like Bond or for like he could do Bond or Mission Impossible. That's basically what he's doing here. So it's not as like stylish and flashy, but it is a lot of fun. And Aubrey Plaza basically steals the whole thing. And if she hadn't already, Hugh Grant would have stolen it back from her because the two of them are amazing in it.
That's great. That's good to know.
So
I mean, I'm still gonna see it.
It's
Right.
It sounds
worth
better
a
than
watch.
Wrath of Man.
Oh yeah, it's definitely better than. I'm just saying it was not as flashy and stylish Guy Ritchie as I was
Can't quite
expecting.
get back to that golden Guy Ritchie, Jason Statham. Damn.
Yeah,
That magic.
Yeah.
That snatch magic. I didn't like saying that either. It definitely did not come out right.
please
Do
never talk
not
about
say
the
snatch
snatch
magic.
Nope. And
Yikes.
that is my appetizers for the week. This is a good reminder that you can support us by going over to
wait.
patreon.com/TV Dudes. What?
Nick, did you go through yours?
I did
Nick went
not.
first. Oh, I thought Nick went
I
first.
did not.
I went first.
No.
Oh, okay. Never mind. You talked about everything that's on next list. Nick, go talk about your TV diary.
No. The only thing that I realized I forgot after. So for 2 days, Nick and I have been trying to think if we watched another thing. What else did we watch? We were filling out our TV diaries and like,
Yep.
we watched another movie. What else did we watch?
Okay.
The entire Friday the 13th franchise.
Oh my God.
Not quite.
Not quite. We hit the end at, I believe, 6.
8. Manhattan is 8, right?
8. Yeah,
Manhattan is 8.
The rights on those series is a mess, and so at 8 it turned into not Friday movies but Jason movies, and those are not streaming on channels we have.
Yeah, but
okay.
the a lot of them are on Starz, which we now have. So I was for Party Down. So I'm like, well, we got it for So I watched the first 3, and then Les joined me for 4 through 8, and we were, wow, what an interesting franchise.
Says it's 6. That's remarkably hilarious.
7. No, which one is New Beginning?
New Beginning, whichever one that is. I think it might be 6.
No, New Beginning.
That shit was like you can see that like some other director came in and like several years before Scream.
6. Yeah, you're right. It is 6.
Made this like meta horror movie that's making fun. I mean, it's not quite Wet Hot American Summer, but they are making fun of their own franchise in a way that no movie will do again for a few years.
Till 1990 something with Scream.
And you can also tell that like, wow, Trailblazer, this is not the franchise for it.
Oh, the
they don't
studio
ever do that shit again.
Hated it.
The next one is this return to like serious Friday the 13th movies. It's so fucking
6 is the one where he becomes a zombie, and there is a great runner that you can like headcanon that he's learning. He has new abilities. He has new strengths, And he takes a guy's arm off and looks at it like, I didn't know I could do that.
So in the Friday the 3rd, there's always a problem in like trying to retcon all of this because for the first half of this franchise,
They change it every
Jason's
movie.
just a big dude, right?
Yeah.
And then for the second half of the franchise, he's an unstoppable supernatural killing machine with like mega strength who can teleport. And in this movie is the one where he gets like lightning struck and raised from the grave and like he's all worm food but so he is absolutely a zombie now. And literally throughout the entire movie, he like goes to pick someone up and their head comes off. And yeah, it's absolutely my headcanon now that Jason's learning his strength through this movie because they keep doing gags of like he'll tear an arm off and then look at it while the like what?
It's like, no, I meant to throw that guy.
And you're like, yeah, man, for 5 movies, I have killed like 50 high
It's
school
never happened
kids,
before.
and never once has the whole arm come off. Not once. Like I get the feeling like it's a serial killer going, what the
But
fuck?
less in the last movie, didn't they say they cremated him?
Oh, that's also, yeah, that's right. They also, yeah, it's a horror movie.
So you know how they explain that away. They just never mention it
They
again
just never mention it again.
and pretend that they didn't say that.
Yep.
Which
In
is
their own
kind of
enterprise.
the Jason the Jason way of like, and also I think we've just like whatever documentary you watched, I think we discovered the better name of it, like Friday the 13th franchise, the Roy of it all.
The Roy of it all.
Yeah,
There's an entire movie with no Jason, just a dude named Roy.
yeah, he's the killer.
He's the killer. I'm not joking. There's a Friday the 13th movie with Roy. Roy's the killer, not Jason. No, not even Jason's mom. Just Roy.
No Voorhees at all. No, that's Roy.
Yeah. So like, what's the problem with the Jason franchise? Well, the fucking Roy of it all.
The Roy at the center of it.
You think there's a mythology? There is not.
There is in no way a consistent mythology. Although there's one consistent thing: dogs survive Friday the 13th.
Dogs
movies.
fuck right off in the Friday the 13th franchise. There's 3 different dogs, and there's a moment. One of them jumps out a window and is just gone, dude.
Yep.
You never see Gordon again.
Never again.
That dog, I mean, like, and like Jason's chasing his humans in the house, and Gordon like does this awesome slow motion dog jump out a glass window and runs away.
No loyalty lost.
No.
In like
And that's
man's
basically
best friend.
all the dogs
Fuck that.
Like, there's like an awesome, some kind of shepherd,
Yeah, a little shepherd dog, maybe a mix in
named
the
Toby.
Yeah, Toby.
In Manhattan, and they literally like Toby fucks off, comes back to the humans. The humans get attacked by Jason again. He fucks off again.
He comes back to
And then
just
comes
keep
back
running
to-
away.
Yeah, like he comes back to him, but it's always like, I don't know where that dog went, but somebody somewhere smarter than all the rest of you.
He can hide. He's
can
got
hide.
it down.
And Jason doesn't ever. It is weirdly canon that Jason does not hurt dogs.
Oh, he can't. He doesn't get the chance, man.
Yeah,
The dogs are gone by the time he's
By
like
the 3rd time it happened, where Nick and I were like, so no dogs in this franchise have loyalty. All of them are like, I'm out. Fuck.
no. Hey, you
Man, the
make fun of them all you
Prince
want,
Railroads
Lester.
aren't that good.
Dogs survive. They make it through Jason movies, and if that means they have to leave their masters to die, that is just how it goes. What else? And then I watched Den of Thieves before I came over,
Mhm.
and then a lot of the week was travel. So I listened to podcasts instead, and I only watched Den of Thieves because I wanted to watch like O'Shea Jackson before we watched Cocaine Bear. He's pretty good in that too.
Oh man, he's great.
Yeah, I actually.
Almost like his dad.
And also, it's a better version of Wrath of Man. I actually give Den of Thieves a watch. It's pretty fun. It's a pretty
Right.
fun like rental movie. Like I feel like me and my dad would have loved renting this on the weekend in in the 90s when we did that. Yeah, it's a dad movie.
All right. That is the end of our appetizers for the week, I think. And this is a good reminder to support us by going over to patreon.com/tvdudes. Throw us that buck an episode. In exchange, we get to keep our streaming services, pay for our hosting costs, and you get bonus content each week. This week, are you people getting bonus content? We suffered through Guy Ritchie's riches. This is more like Guy Ritchie's ditches.
Oh man, when people say Swept Away is a bad movie, I'm telling you, you don't understand what
No.
they
You
mean.
can't
No.
understand until you watch it. I thought
But what kind of bad movie? You have no idea.
so. I saw King Arthur, and I thought, oh, this isn't so bad. Maybe people just don't like Guy Ritchie and everything. Maybe so. Swept Away. Maybe it's better than I think.
Established
Maybe
how wrong you are about that movie. Yeah, we know.
well,
But no,
King
there's good
Arthur.
bad movies, and then there's bad movies.
Oh, I would watch King Arthur.
Oh, I'd watch King Arthur in a
100
heartbeat.
times.
Yeah.
If you'd
I
have
would
given me the
absolutely.
option to swap out at any minute of Swept Away.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk
Well,
about
that's
it.
the other thing. The other one is Aladdin, and it's funny because Aladdin I liked, but in rewatching I liked it less. But I also watched it after Swept Away, so I liked it just fine.
Oh
Because
God.
as
Yeah,
I told
no.
Les, compared to Swept Away, Aladdin is a 4-star movie.
Yep.
4 out of 4.
Absolutely.
No, I remember finishing Aladdin and I was mad. And then we
Yes.
watched Swept Away and I'm like, oh, never mind. I'm not mad at
Oh,
that movie
no.
anymore.
Yeah, like Aladdin's not the problem. Swept Away is the worst thing he's ever done, and worst thing he
Yeah.
will ever do. He can't possibly do worse than that. I don't know how he would do
by
it.
a large mile.
Yeah. We'll talk about it. We'll talk
talk
about it. All right. Let's have our main course, and let's talk about True Lies over on Paramount Plus. This should be great, right? I'm not wrong about this. This should be great.
It should be great.
I honestly thought it would be. I'm of the opinion I thought it was going to be worse than what, like, because I'm like, I don't think True Lies has what it has it in it to be a series. But then watching it, I was like, oh wait, no, there is a premise
There's
here.
a shockingly good engine here.
Shockingly good premise.
True Lies is a fun movie that deserved a sequel, and the sequel would have been Harry and Helen are now spies together, and their daughter knows they're spies, and it's like a family spy thing, and it could have been really fun. It could have been better than what they did with Spy Kids kind of thing. And so doing a premise of Harry and Helen are spies, that's a fun premise. And Ginger Gonzaga playing the Helen part, like, you're not going to beat Jamie Lee Curtis, but Ginger Gonzaga was
God,
so
she's
good in She-Hulk.
so adorable.
Riding on the high from She-Hulk, baby.
Yeah. And you've
all
got
her language stuff, seeing her
you've
Zumba boxing come back. Yeah, she's great.
You've got Omar Benson Miller as Gib, and that's good casting. Again, Tom Arnold was surprisingly good in that part, but Gib it's a good casting.
Everyone was eating cheese.
Yeah. Man, it wasn't just me, man. Everybody ate cheese.
Steve Howie,
dude, Steve Howie, I love.
He's solid. He
was great
enough.
in Reba. He's Kevin in Shameless. I've been he's one of those actors of like, somebody's going to eventually figure out the role for you, buddy.
And this is by Matt Nix, who did Burn Notice. And if you were to say the guy who made Burn Notice making True Lies, that's perfect.
I see how this was greenlit.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Pick up your money on the way out. You're good.
What I don't understand is what happened. Because this is
CBS. This is CBS, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the CBS-ness of it.
Yeah.
It feels like it got NCIS'd down.
Yeah, man,
it's a death of many. It's a lot of little decisions that add up to. And while watching it, I think me and Les were like, there's a couple good decisions in here, but there's a couple decisions that are bafflingly weird and by themselves you probably wouldn't notice, but after a while they stack up and go, this isn't quite working.
Yeah.
And I think we liked it more than Randy here, but
yeah, I'm definitely going to watch another, but it doesn't it feels like the cream of the forgettable midweek 22 episode NCIS series crop, and I wanted it to be something special because Matt Nix.
I was thinking it was one of the ones I forget about, not Burn Notice or White Collar. It's going to be one of the ones on USA I forgot about. Like, what's the doctor one? Pains?
Yeah,
Royal Pains. Royal Pains. That's what it was.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Oh fuck!
I wanted this to be Burn Notice or Chuck or Alias, and that was a high bar to clear, I guess. But
no.
But man, I would have settled for Quantum Leap. I would have settled for a good, reliable story of the week show. And here's the thing: the pilot, I was willing to let go of the pilot because you have to do a 2-hour movie on a TV budget in 1 hour without Arnold Schwarzenegger, without Jamie Lee Curtis.
Also respect getting to the premise early.
Yeah.
I was going to give them, you know what? You're setting up your premise. That's okay. I was going to give them that. But I watched the second episode and it is, again, bafflingly weak. Like, it's not terrible. It's watchable, but it's not great. I don't see myself sticking with this. It is their remake of Hawaii Five-0 level good. It is their remake of Magnum PI level good.
So outside of Taylor Sheridan, that's CBS's brand, I think. Like, I don't like unless it is a specific IP like Taylor Sheridan or Star Trek, like the rest of their shows are like FBI or the other FBI show.
Right. But I mean, they have Ghosts and they had the Unicorn, so I thought maybe this might have a little bit of that comedy vibe, and I'm just not. It's not there.
Well, so it's fun because the idea the structure of it is better than the actual execution of. I like the idea of Chuck, but it's role reversed of like Sarah would be the gung ho like adrenaline junkie, and he
Mm-hmm.
being good at the boring stuff and really proud of knowing all the boring shit is funny.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
really play that up enough,
They don't.
but it's a good idea of like he's really good at the boring shit and that's why he comes off as so boring to her even after the reveal.
Yeah.
I would love if she still finds him boring.
Yeah, but like if you told me that like, oh, the premise of Chuck is that Awesome has always been a spy,
Yeah.
and now he has to bring his wife into it and has to keep her loser brother-in-law and his idiot friend out.
Yeah.
Like that, like, okay, cool. That sounds great. That should be what this True Lies is.
Yeah. Ginger Gonzaga is doing her best with what is a poorly written role. I think the idea of making her a professor who's a linguist, like that makes more sense than Helen getting recruited just because she happened to find out Harry was a spy. She's like, oh
Yeah.
no, she has skills that you can use.
Oh yeah,
That's
when
clever.
she calls out God, she knows Bass.
Yeah,
like she knows she doesn't just it's not just Spanish, it's the
she knows,
separatist language of northern Spain.
Yeah, she knows like 30 languages. Yeah.
And
I'm like,
and it goes with her character of wanting to see the world.
yeah, it makes sense.
It's a skill and a backstory all in one. Like there's little thing, and then but the idea of okay, once you figure out about whatever the name of the fucking thing is, Tempest, I forget.
Omega
Sector.
Yeah.
That's right. And you have
the last line of defense.
It's like, okay, you're recruited then because that's the only way we can trust you not to. And I'm like, okay, but also that doesn't make sense of how easily he seemed to have dropped it and included her in on it.
Well, and also they really do sell computers. So does every single person working there also know that they are in a spy organization, but your job is to sell a shitty PC?
So they touch on that in the second episode. I will say they do touch on that a little bit.
Okay.
But if you guys have, I don't know if you guys have watched True Lies at all recently. If you remember it, I remember it really well because I've watched it a ton. But man,
I remember the dance scene with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, everyone remembers that.
Other stuff happens in the movie.
There are so many good moments and bits of dialogue from Gibbs, like talking about what his daughter's up to when she's stealing his money. And he's like, it's probably for abortion. She's probably, I mean, there's all these little funny bits.
Tom
and then
Arnold
like,
talking English. Yeah.
When they go into the Omega
bitch
sector,
took the ice cube trays.
When they go to the Omega sector, there's like a secretary. She's got a gun under on the table. There's this bit of menace of this old woman holding a gun on them. And there's like little bits like that throughout. Like it is cool and fun. He tries to jump a horse off of a roof. Like there's all kinds of cool, weird shit. And there's things you could have done that are just dialogue based, but the dialogue is weak.
It's also based off of Arnold having his one-liner personality is really being utilized in a pretty good way there of like, okay. And then even I think one of my favorite scenes is the truth serum scene. Mm-hmm. And that's memorable. And the problem with is that as good as Ginger, what's her name?
Ginger Gonzaga. Yeah,
she is giving it her all. The dude is nothing.
Yeah. And you've got another quick shit talker. Like you can't put Ryan Reynolds in an Arnold Schwarzenegger role.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, not that Steve Howie is hitting.
It's not Ryan Reynolds, but
like he could have auditioned for the Gib role. And been just as likable. What you need here is Jack Reacher instead. Like you need giant mute idiot. Like who just like, but honey, I did all of the things.
Or turn into the boring aspect, like I said, of like how good he is.
Lean in.
How good he is at the boring. Like if you want to really change it up, but
in which case you should have cast Adam Scott.
Right, but they're trying to get they want a big dude for the Schwarzenegger.
Ah, damn it! Now I want Adam Scott as a spy trying to keep it secret from his wife, and it just like tearing his stomach up.
Yeah, and then
we would also accept William Jackson Harper in that role.
Yes, absolutely.
There's
just for when they figure it out and like, I should have known it. I've seen you shirtless.
The way they get out of the situation is not particularly well written. Of like, okay, well, I'm gonna phonetically tell you what to say. Of like, I'm bringing the woman out first. What if he asks a follow-up question?
Yes.
Like, oh well, thank God that didn't happen. Oh, good, that works for me.
Yeah, it's not terrible. It's not even the worst thing I've watched. Certainly not this week. I watched Swept Away, but it's not the worst thing I've watched this year on TV. But it's disappointing because I think there's potential, especially like I say with Matt Nix running it, for this to be a really fun, good spy show. but it's just not. It's just not very good.
I mean, grading on a curve this week, it was great.
Yeah.
We watched some terrible things, but
Well, grading and curving some movies. TV wise, we had a good week. That's why we have so much dessert.
What did they give you? Sodium amytal, also met a truth agent.
It makes you tell the truth?
Mm-hmm.
Is it working?
Ask me a question that I normally would lie to.
Are we gonna die?
Yep.
I'd say it's working.
Before we get to dessert, I realized I skipped over something in my TV diaries. I'm going to do as a quick side dish, and that is Not Dead Yet over on Hulu, ABC
Right.
show. I watched this on a whim, despite being burned by animal control. I was like, well, maybe network TV can give me something, and in this case, it did. This is by it's from Casey Johnson, and I forget who the other guy is. It's a couple guys who've worked on Casey Johnson and David Windsor. People created this. Now, recently they've done This Is Us and The Real O'Neills, so not like the greatest TV. But before that, they worked on Gallivant, Trophy Wife, and Don't Trust the Bee in rapid succession.
Okay.
And this feels more like those in terms of like what they've delivered. So, Not Dead Yet is stars Gina Rodriguez from Jane the Virgin, Hannah Simone from New Girl, and Lauren Ash from most recently Superstore. And basically, Gina Rodriguez is a character who she worked in a newspaper. She fucked off for about 5 years to go live with her boyfriend in London. He broke up with her and has a new fiance, and so she's moved back to London, back to L.A. and is basically like going back to her best friend of the newspaper and the woman she hated, who is now in charge of the newspaper, Lexi, played by Lauren Ash. And she's living with this sort of guy who's very much on the spectrum in a comedic way that she found on Craigslist. And she gets put back on the desk to write obituaries, and it feels like it's a very slice of life, getting back to my life and learning to be good with my friends. My friends forgive me for what I did, that kind of thing. Except Martin Mull shows up, and it turns out he's the ghost of the guy she's writing the obituary about, and that's the pitch of every week of the episode of the week. She is visited by the ghost of whoever she's writing the obituary about, and so she can write these obituaries that are really get the person because she can talk to them about it. And each week, the people sort of teach her a lesson about life that they learned from being dead. The guest star list on this has been great. Martin Mull recurs. She meets his wife, who owns a wine bar, and becomes friends with her, and she was a regular character. But Brittany Snow shows up as a like social media influencer who was her childhood bully. Mo Collins from Parks and Rec shows up as someone who's like a motivational speaker. And Julia Sweeney was just in the latest episode as like a lamb chop puppet person,
okay.
And it's all really fun and really, I mean, Lauren Ash does steal it. She's great as the basically sociopathic Lexi, who is running the newspaper.
The idea to take Dina, who they always played as like coming in out of the country, no feminism and well, why would I bother to do that? Like just gruff copness, and like turning her into this Kardashian is insane.
Yes.
Like she is bonkers.
And she was always played as like the big the butch woman in Superstore, and we saw a little bit of it, but here they're like, oh right, she's hot, and we're going to show you that.
She really is. Interviewed her in a really packed room and had to stand awkwardly close to Lauren Ash and keep my shit together. Yeah, she is intimidating in person.
This is super fun. It's not Ghosts. It's not quite on that level, but it's fun, and I'm definitely enjoying it. It's not even Grand Crew. Like, it's not like an amazing show, but it was funny.
Well,
I've watched 6 episodes, and it's pretty solid.
I watched the first one, and it struck me as somewhere between. It's basically the setup of Happy Endings. Like he gets left at the altar, but like you went off to try to follow love, and it fucked your life, and like she's gotta go back and pick up the pieces. It's not the setup of Happy Endings, but it gave me that vibe of like watching a main character. Oh, but I'd like my job back. Cool. That's 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You can write obituaries, I guess. But then combined with the magic of Zoe. Like Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist.
Yes, and it definitely has a bit of that Zoe. It's based on a novel called Confessions of a 40-something fuck up. So it clearly is the reality, and somehow
that's
in the
pretty
pitch,
good name for a
that's a
novel.
really good name.
Sorry, that's pretty good.
Somehow in the pitch process, someone was like, "Could she also talk to ghosts?" And they went ahead and added that. And yeah, it does give that sort of Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist vibe.
Hey,
so yeah,
we know that happens.
Yeah. But yeah, worth a look.
Do you mean a lightning gremlin? Okay, it's in the movie. Do you mean a gremlin with boobies? It's in the movie.
Let's talk dessert, and let's start off with Party Down. Second episode of Party Down.
Damn.
Nick, did you get a chance to watch any more, or did you just kind of
Yeah,
go into
I've
the
watched.
new stuff?
I'm halfway. I did not get a chance to watch a lot, but I'm halfway through season 1.
Nice.
And even I, for some reason, I haven't gotten to even all the characters because some characters just are regulars in season 2.
Yeah, no, he hasn't gotten to Mega Mullally yet.
But
Right.
I don't think.
But this episode of Party Down felt like, oh, the show is back.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I looked over at Nick and was like, so that feels really solid. And we discussed more than a lot of shows that come back. Like, it doesn't feel like it's trying to do anything. It just literally picked back up.
Yeah.
And but that first episode, Nick, you said you nailed it. It felt like a reunion of a show
Mhm.
that Nick had
Mhm.
not watched.
Yeah.
Yes.
And which, so you and I still enjoyed it, and it was still funny, but it had to do a lot of reunion work. This episode just felt like a really solid episode of a
Yeah.
sitcom episode.
It is
Yeah.
funny.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it's funny as hell, man. The bit where they
that's
catch
the
him.
fanciest bathroom I have ever seen. It has a water fountain in the toilet. Like, I've heard that joke made about bidets before, but
Yeah.
It's like they changed a couple characterizations too.
Saxon, I feel like, got dumber between episode 1 and episode 2.
He definitely did.
And it's fucking
It's working.
good,
It's working.
because in episode 1
Yeah.
he was exactly his Brockmire character,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and this is different.
Yeah.
Like,
Uh,
this is better.
I love the runner of Ron. Ron, who this was the Party Down thing every time. Ron was always trying to present as the most professional, but something would happen where Ron was the biggest fuck up, like he'd injure himself or something. The notion of
He's
Ron
an idiot.
taking a shower and using this small batch shampoo
Oh.
and
Dude, and
getting
he fucks
caught.
up the lie of just saying, yes, I got it as a gift from a
Yeah.
client.
Yeah, and then he goes and takes another shower to cover it.
Do I smell like a guy that lives in a van? Yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
Kind
Uh,
of.
Unfortunately, yeah.
and I love the way they got Henry back into this. He's like, yeah, I got a divorce. You know,
Oh,
I'm
immediately. Like,
I'm
mhm.
still a teacher. I'm moonlighting, and I love. Oh God, what's the character? It's I don't remember what the character's name is, but
Martin
Dick.
Starr, or-
Right.
Yeah,
Oh no, Dick! When he thinks it's some kind of candy flipping drug thing.
he's like,
Yeah,
oh yeah,
Moonlight.
your moonlight. When does it drop? He's like, no, that's the name for having another job. That's stupid. It's during the day.
Never
That doesn't
heard-
make any sense.
It's just daylight. Fucking stupid. Do you know the thing
Yeah.
about child actors? You know, I never heard that before. Do child actors have a hard time?
Kinda like Judy
Yep.
Garland. Oh, and she always looks so happy singing and dancing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's some
that was-
dark. There was some dark stuff going on underneath
All-
there.
Oh, but I love that it comes through because she books it for.
I wonder if
the
each
proper
episode is going to tail dove into the next.
I think so. It's going to lead
I
to the
think
next
so.
gig.
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
dude, Jennifer Garner. I did not
Mhm.
know that I was going to like her this much in this, but I'm like, oh wow,
He's so good.
she's really a good replacement for Lizzie Kaplan here, and
He's great, and I'm the same. I wasn't expecting because I forget. I loved Alias, but I haven't seen Jennifer Garner or anything I loved in
she's
a long time.
Amazing. in
dude, the
this.
energy she nods her head at when she asks
Yeah.
like, oh no, I already stole 2 of Jack's Percocets. Do you want one?
Yes.
He's like,
I just love she's like this is breaking the rules. He's like, oh no, we do this all the time. We
No, no, we
always
break that one.
And she's like, it's no
Yeah.
big deal. Your
You're a divorce?
boyfriend's affair?
It's like,
No,
no,
you
that's a
being
big
in
deal.
A private area.
oh no, we do that all the
Yeah,
time.
we break that rule all the time. And God, when Saxon walks in after getting chewed out so many times and catches Ron stepping out of the shower,
Uh-huh.
and Ron just looks at him and like, fine, do it, make it quick.
All right, make it quick.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
yep.
not even gonna yell at you, but just shoot your stupid fucking video then. I'm definitely busted.
Yeah,
Yeah, I and then down to the closer joke on the card.
yes.
Oh damn it, that was so. Yeah, this show really lands its punches. It knows exactly what it's doing.
And
Yeah.
as far as new characters go, the chef
Yes,
Zoe
Oh,
Chow
God.
from After Party.
Yes, from
she's
After
so
Party.
good.
God, and
Why everyone's so hung up on food being good
and having flavor
and flavor and like,
This is supposed to make you think about death.
and she the food it makes the child
breaks
star
that child actor.
breaks her
Mhm.
and she's like yes, you see her in the like do a little
Yeah,
fist pump
when,
like
when she like
yes.
pauses and starts to cry, and the chef in the background like, and then telling Dick that like, yeah, no, I like it. Well, if you like it, you don't get it.
You don't get it.
Yep. Yeah. Man. Yeah. Super
Also,
good.
I love that the the whole thing. Dick is only doing Party Down to get back into the sense memory, lived experience truth of his character
Right.
Yes.
for this audition for the
Yeah.
Lost Boys reboot, which is Rob Thomas.
Which was Rob Thomas was going to do. Yes, that's
yeah,
right.
yeah. That's
So
what
bummed
I
about
Dick, I
that,
was like,
actually.
I was like,
Yeah.
that's great because I don't
Yep.
think that's happening, but should
Yep.
have.
And
Yep.
also like what was it? Scott is like, oh, so that differentiate you from all the other
Oh, yeah.
actors that have never worked in the food industry.
You'll be one of the handful of actors in New York or in LA that has food service experience. You get it.
You get it. You get. He can't. I love Ab Scott. He never learned. Like you can't be sarcastic. With these people. They're fucking
They don't get it.
delusional.
Yeah, they don't get it. Yeah.
You see? God never closes a door without opening up a window.
Yeah, that's how Bear got my uncle.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right. Let's talk the Pedro Pascal Orphan Happy Hour.
Sure.
Let's talk about Last of Us and The Mandalorian.
Before we move on, James Marsden, he's an actor that and it sucks because he's not one of those actors like, oh, you could be a movie star. He's an actor like you look like you could play a movie star, and they're not, and they're not the same. They are very much not the same.
If you need a movie star on your TV show, James Marsden's perfect.
Yes.
He's the guy who can play it. Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Who is our Tom Cruise in this universe?
Oh, poor James Marsden.
And then James Marsden comes up.
Tom Cruise.
And Marsden would come up like here, like he's got hearing. Like, did someone say cheap Tom Cruise?
From Westworld, Tom Cruise. I'm the Tom Cruise you can beat up.
You can do whatever, man. I'm down.
All right. Pedro Pascal playing a rough dad type to a foster child.
Sure, yeah.
Are we talking about Last of Us or The Mandalorian? Yes, both.
Oh, well, yeah. I was surprised that Grogu didn't heal him from that bat wound. I thought like, wait, they introduced force healing in the first season.
That's the wrong show. That's the different. That's the other. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, Grogu. I thought Grogu, like the Baby Yoda, said cunt a lot, or like was swearing a lot for this episode. Like, okay.
I would love a swap. I would love to see that. This is the penultimate Last of Us. We're getting a ninth episode and final episode next week. This week was another. I thought it was another big hard hitting one, and they let Bella Ramsey like take the lead. Like she's the star of this entire thing, and she did great. Like facing off. This was an entire. Someone said this is an entire episode of Walking Dead or entire season of Walking Dead in one episode.
Yes,
and that's what it is. They introduced us to the. We meet the shitty cannibals. Of course, they exist, and they're dealt with and done with. Like we don't have a season. We don't spend a season on a fucking farm. They're just taking us like, yes, these are the tropes. Here's how we're going to do it, but we're going to filter it through the story of these characters you care about, which is a trick Walking Dead never managed, and Last of Us did every episode.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is the first episode where I'm like, just because I played the game, I'm like, they make a decision early on that I'm like, I wish you hadn't have done that. In the game, they don't. We just meet these characters with Ellie, and he seems like a pretty nice dude. Like they're gonna swap. They make the swap for medicine and food, and like it's legit. And then you realize that, oh shit, these were the guys at the hospital.
Yeah.
And it's a turn, but this one, I can't tell if they think it's a turn because, like, dude, you showed him reading a Bible verse in the beginning of this show. No good guy has ever read a Bible verse in an apocalypse. It's never happened. That immediately reads this cult.
Yeah, that's true.
For me, I was like, there was no obviously I've already known the story, but for me, man, there's even no suspense. I know this dude is a fucking weirdo.
So I will say, having not played the game, I was like, oh, maybe they are going to do a thing where there's actually a community and they're religious and they're not terrible. So I was taken in for a little while.
Did it work? All right.
It did work.
For me, the religious angle made it clear that no writer worth their salt ever makes a religious community a good community.
It's fair. It's fair.
They can't help themselves.
Because Last of Us has subverted my expectations already, I was prepared for them to subvert it again. And instead they give us a brutal bit of the reveal of his whole speech about wanting her to be his child bride. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that plays, and again, that's the part they don't change from the game of like, oh yeah, he works his way around back talking towards her of like, oh, this is what this is about.
Yeah, this is terrible.
This is why you wanted her captured alive. This
Yep.
is like, and her move of like, oh, and then grabbing his hand and breaking his fucking finger.
Breaking
like,
his fucking finger. Yes, I loved it. I also love that we're set up to think that Joel's going to come in and rescue her, and he does show up, but she rescues herself.
No, yeah, and it's very intentional because you're like, okay, here's where Joel's gonna come. Oh no, wait, she's gonna very brutally murder this guy.
Yep, and set the fucking place on fire.
Oh yeah, and oh god, the way when they turns over and he starts to like squeal, and it's like,
yeah,
it's dark, and
it's dark.
I like that she uses her bite to her advantage in this one. I thought that was smart. Of like, hey, I'm infected, and now you are. I bit you.
Yeah, that was really good.
And I was like, I think that's how that works. But also, these are very skittish people, and like,
it was a good distraction.
And it has one of my favorite Joel moments that shows what he used to be, because Ellie is not there, and he's torturing the guys, and he almost pops that guy's kneecap off, and he gives them the ultimatum of like, point on the map, and then if it doesn't match your buddy's point on the map, I'm gonna kill you both. Yeah, and the first guy does it, and he's like, I'm telling the truth, man. I tell you the truth, and he kills him, and the other guy's like, what the fuck? I'm not gonna tell you anything, and he's like, that's all right. I believed him.
Like, I believed him. Yeah.
What a great line. Great going forward. I love that.
Yeah. All right, let's jump over and talk about the other Pedro Pascal show, and that's The Mandalorian. I thought the second episode was a notable improvement on the first.
Second issue is also correct, I think.
Like, yeah, for sure. I mean, or second part of the video game, because man, Last of Us may be based on a video game, but the fucking Mandalorian is plotted like a video game.
Oh, like, oh no, random encounter. Okay, like,
random encounter. Yep. The thing is, this is what I want from Star Wars: random alien bartenders, random alien encounters, crazy droids. This is what I want.
Yeah. And no felt need to explain any of it.
No.
What's that fucking cyborg AI alien thing in the, I don't know.
Nothing, man. It's just Mandalore. Just don't worry about it. And yeah.
And more Bo-Katan is cool. I like Grogu going to get her.
Yeah, I like Bo-Katan a lot, and I like her sort of. She's tired of all this, and then he shows up, and she's like, "Oh shit, what happened?" And she goes back, and that she's, however disaffected she promises, she pretends to be. She does actually like Mando,
right? And it also brings up the thing of like, oh, Mandalore is cursed, even though it takes one dude and one droid to go down there and get samples. And it's like, okay, so no one's landed on this planet in like 30 years. Is that what we're going with? Is that?
Yep. I also love the appearance of God, what's her name? The woman on Tatooine who is
the Junker.
I forget the actress' name. Watching her scam anyone is one of my favorite things in this show. I love that she's like, she sells the guy's parts back to him. She's like, the Jawas out there, all right, bring them back in. Yeah, put that back on the ship that you stole in the first place.
I love that. Yeah, the Jawas have ripped somebody off, and now they're like, "Oh, I can get you the parts." And the Jawas come in with those same parts. They're like, they're just removing the middleman of like selling that to a different person. Like, well, what if we just steal them and then just sell them back?
Let's just sell them back to it. Yeah. And then the way she scams Mando was so diehard in the first episode that it could only be IG-88, and she manages to scam him into, no, just take this busted ass R5. It'll be fine.
Even though the R5 is a bitch.
Yes.
It's an adventure bot. Like, I do not want to go out there.
I love baby. I mean, they basically undid the Boba Fett thing. Like, she's like, yeah, I'll put him back in your ship. Put the droid back in the ship. I'll take the cupola thing I took out. I'm like, you just put that in. You literally just put that in. But that was fun. The thing that I really liked was Bo-Katan telling him about the story of the original Mandalore or whatever who kills the giant beast. And so when she's like down there rescuing from the water, they go past the giant beast.
Yeah,
I was like, oh shit, okay.
It's what their symbol is based off of, which I thought was pretty cool. Like, I was like, okay, that's if we finally get a look at what that monster is actually, the tusk and skull that it's based off of.
Yeah, I like I say, this is what I want from Star Wars. I want big adventure. I want lightsaber fights or dark saber fights, whatever. I want aliens. I want random encounters. This is much more what I want from Star Wars.
Me too.
This is everything I like from Star Wars. So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
No, I also, yeah, I'm into it.
All right, let's have our final dessert and let's talk about Poker Face.
We're talking about Poker Face.
So episode 9 brought in Joseph Gordon-Levitt
Mm-hmm.
as the biggest scumbag in the world.
Wow. And not even a particularly smart one.
No, he was he basically was a finance bro who got caught.
Well, I mean, living where you are, there's only one food dasher or whatever their thing was in that area.
And he stopped
Tip 'em,
tipping. I was
moron.
Yes, it opens with that. I love
You
that.
misunderstand the power dynamic in that relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it tells you everything. Like, yes, this guy's never put a tip on a thing in his life, but it's never come back on him.
Yes.
But now he
No.
doesn't realize what a small world he's in. And the same thing happens with his buddy. He's been able to hold it over this guy forever and get him to do whatever he wants. And now we're like, man, you don't have the influence you think you have.
This show is always really good at dropping the exact right amount of information so that everything sews up and everybody's motivations are right in single lines. And the mechanism by which he's been lording it over that dude, that he had told him that she had a bad fall because of a bad reaction to Coke that he sold them.
Yeah, to make it directly aligned to his fall.
And like as soon as they said like, wow, there's not very many things that yep, I believe that puts a straight line of guilt. Like that kid feels directly guilty for ruining. Like, I sold party drugs to the town Olympic hopeful and ruined everything.
David Castaneda, by the way.
Yes.
Diego from Umbrella Academy.
Yeah. The cast in this, like, Stephanie Hsu is so good as what is it, Mortimer?
Oh yes. Whatever her fake name
Morty?
is on the stolen credit card.
What's her fuck?
Morty.
Morty, that's what her name is. Yeah.
Morty. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great though of like, if I run this, will be this the last time I see you? Yes. Have a nice day, Mortimer Montgomery.
Yeah.
Yes. That was fantastic. And man, the way that all went down, where she's basically gonna sell her out, and just she's like, again, I don't care.
Her character seemed smart, and it was like, okay, and then she does a really fucking dumb thing.
Yeah.
Remember when Natasha Lyonne said no second locations?
Yeah.
And what does she do with Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of my favorite ones in terms of like the murder mystery, the tiny movie of it. Like, this feels like
I don't know why.
Dark horror.
Because when someone, like, because I think it was because they don't show who got hit, but before they showed Natasha Lyonne's backstory of it, I was like, if this was me, I'd have her be the one that got hit by that car.
Yeah, and that was really good. And the bit she gets put under a tree, like they think she's dead.
Yes,
in times.
A couple times. They're not good at checking pulses.
No, her having his anklet and it like that was
so. Oh man,
this show just
how much does she drink? How weak is her pulse?
It's so great. Yeah,
but I love that he gets back. He celebrates. He thinks he's made it.
Oh.
And then looks down, and we realize what she was doing on purpose when she cut him. Like, she knew she did it on purpose.
Yes,
we all thought it was a failed gambit. Like, it was great. Yeah,
no,
you're right.
It was a 100% calculated move, and it worked. And it was
So I really enjoyed this episode. Also, for the way that it dovetailed back into the larger structure of the season, we got an episode a week the whole time, with just barely remembering that Benjamin Bratt's chasing her, and then realize that they're gonna slam it all home in the 10th episode, because in the last few minutes of the 9th one, when she's the 1-2 punch of her realizing in the hospital, holy fuck, I'm dead.
I'm dead. Yeah, I'm free.
Legally dead. I'm free. And then cutting to the parking lot, because like Nick would say, that gambit actually can't hold. Stephanie Hsu, like, her corpse looks nothing like Natasha Lyonne.
Yes. Yeah,
and it's going to be realized immediately if anybody goes. But that's if anyone gets there to. Oh, hey, there's the Benjamin Bratt.
There he is. Because I was like, hey, why does she think she's safe? That's one phone call of like, hey, what race is the body
for like half a breath?
Was Charlie an Asian woman?
Right.
Okay, so who's your Jane? Let me see the Jane Doe.
Oh man, and then also the payback of all the wallet thefts. Over and over and over.
Oh
and over.
man.
Yes.
So
like Morty.
before we talk episode 10, I want to real quick call out that Poker Face had a pretty damn near perfect first season of television.
Really
There's
did.
not a bad episode in the bunch.
Nope.
Like
No.
the closest thing is I think the theater one could have been stronger. The
Yeah.
ones in the theater could have been
Yep.
stronger, but even that is a good episode.
Yeah, even that's a really good
It just
episode.
feels like it's of a different because it's so.
Yeah.
It feels like more what I thought the show would be, like an anthology of
Yeah.
different types of mysteries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that one felt like a slightly different genre rather
Yeah.
than the rest of them. But
Yeah. Then we get to this episode 10, which, man, what a fucking finale this was. If this was a series finale, I'd be perfectly happy, but I'm glad it's not.
Also, though, we'll talk about it in a minute, but the final line of the episode may be the best final line I've ever seen a season end itself on. In
Yes.
terms of like everything short of looking directly out at the audience.
yeah.
Yeah. So, the starting off by showing how miserable Benjamin Bratt's
Oh,
life has been for a
man.
year.
Seeing his whole year condensed down, and it also
That's so.
that
Yes.
makes selling his turn later so easy.
Yes.
Oh, it's easy. Yeah.
'Cause you see this man grow to hate this fucking job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Even before that, showing the other like. Normally, I would say like what I hated about Midnight Mass is like showing the exact same conversation twice, but this one is like you show the exact same conversation, but now it's from Ron Perlman's perspective.
Yep.
And even though it's the exact same conversation, it plays different.
Perlman's
Like,
so good.
It absolutely.
in
Oh man,
that- in
Perlman's
that
great
scene.
in this.
Oh my god.
I thought they were setting us up, and I guess we should say spoiler warning. If you haven't watched Poker Face, don't listen to this because you want to come in.
That's a super mystery show. You probably shouldn't.
But Perlman sells that whole thing where he's like, "I don't blame you for the death of my son." He's like, he's had time to think about it.
I love
I
that
thought,
he's had a
yeah.
year.
He's yet a year to get over it.
I thought, and I don't know why I thought this because I know how television works, but I was like, "Oh, this must be the new status quo. She's going to be working for him. This is going to be fun." And then, nope, it's not.
Which is interesting because I'm like, dude, that's a status quo that I would watch. That's an interesting show.
100%. Ron
And
Perlman
then-
every week on my TV. I'd be good with that again.
And then instead they kick her back to like they
No.
basically reboot the
Yeah.
engine with a different boss. It's like beating Mario and all the Koopas change to a different thing.
Yep. And the new boss, you recognize the voice, I'm sure.
Well, I also like
Perlman,
that
yeah.
Real
it shows
Perlman.
We just changed Perlman's.
we watched
Yeah.
we changed Perlman's. I wonder if that was in the casting of thing of like, we need another Perlman. Got you. Wait, I think he might have not got what I said. But we watched the first episode afterwards too because I wanted to see because a lot of the stuff like the dad says the third rule because Adrian Brody says my dad told me 3 things about the casino.
2 of them don't matter.
Like no, the
Doesn't
last
matter.
one doesn't matter because it's about what's her
Yeah.
face. The like
Yeah.
keep the carpets clean. Blah, blah,
And the third one doesn't matter.
and the third one doesn't matter. And then
Yeah, so this week.
Ron Perlman goes like, I told my son see 3 things. The first 2 don't matter. The second one is
Or, yeah, the third
Yeah, third
is-
one is
it was whatever keep whatever her name is happy.
yeah.
So and then I like the idea that it shows what a different person Ron Perlman. He has the same language that Adrian Brody has.
Yeah.
But he's a smarter character because he. Do you notice that Charlie never once calls he does it. He knows.
No, she never calls bullshit on anything. He never says anything where she can tell he's lying.
Yeah.
You know what else? Cliff doesn't either.
No, that's what I was about to
Yes.
say. Benjamin Bratt is
He's
careful.
pretty
The way
careful
he
about
talks
it.
to her in the boat and
Yeah.
everything, like it's
He
careful.
never-
He never answers in a way that
he
she can
never
call
lets on.
bullshit.
Yep.
He's the best.
Or even in a way that she would suspect, like he's dancing
Yeah.
around it.
No, he's
very
good.
Yeah,
He's very good.
yeah,
No, because he's had a year chasing this woman.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
and
and longer than that working with her. Like they
And
were
he's
friends.
always been,
or
yeah,
at
they've
least
he's
friends.
always
been.
been one that
I
believed her.
I forgot that they knew each other.
Like Adrian Brody tests her. He's just now believing in
Yeah.
her power
Yeah.
when he meets her.
But
Yeah.
Cliff, but he
Cliff knows.
knew it from from jump.
Hey, you
yeah.
can't
When
keep her
she-
around. She's a human fucking lie detector.
When she asks Cliff, "You killed Natalie, right?" There's no reason for him not to tell her. Like he, as far as he knows, she's about to get killed. So there's no reason, and he doesn't anyway because he doesn't want to give it to her. He doesn't tell her. That's when he pulls over and hands her the gun. I mean, that's
And from what we learn later about the gun, that gun is loaded.
Yeah.
he knows her.
He knew her.
It's
Like
it is, and
a
it's that
ballsy
level
move.
of gambit that sells it.
yes.
Anything
Yeah.
short of that, she might have suspected he was up to something.
But she knows. Yeah, he knows.
Takes it by the
she's
knuckle,
not gonna
it's,
shoot her.
like
Yep,
knuckles.
yep.
Yes.
Yep,
How he even
yeah.
grabs it, you're right. How he grabs it is important.
Yeah.
And I love that it shows that Ron Perlman again is like, no, you're too useful to just outright kill. And
Yeah,
his idea
yeah.
of I need assurances from the family, and I need to know a lot of lies are going to be told. I just need to know
Mhm.
which ones are lies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's a
yeah.
good. It's the first time anyone's been smart about using her superpower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because he knew, like, I can't have you go fleecing. You're going to draw attention, get yourself killed, or get me in trouble. So he parked her. He
Yeah.
parked
Yeah.
her in like, but kept her. He kept her in his back pocket. It kept him in his back pocket just so he would have
I'll
like
figure out a use for this eventually.
eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, and he did.
And,
And I get the feeling on a larger scale this time, but it's the same kind of I like he probably initially wanted to kill her for fucking fleecing him in a poker game,
yeah,
but then realized like,
That he-
you know
she-
what? It took me a minute to catch you and tie you to this chair, and I calmed down a little bit. You're useful.
yes,
And,
What I
and
love
I
is
feel like
at
this
the-
is just a larger scale of that, of like, you know, it took me a year, but my son did that to himself,
Yeah,
and you're useful.
Also, we watched the first episode, and Adrian Brody says a very important line in it,
Oh,
where
man.
he says, everyone sees me as a fuck up. I can't live in my father's shadow anymore. Honestly, I'd rather die. Swear to God."
Yeah, if I had another
Yeah.
failure, I'd rather die.
wow. Okay.
And she
Yeah,
doesn't
he
call
does.
bullshit.
She doesn't say, and
Yeah.
she does that, and
Yeah,
it's a thing she forgets because she fucks him
Yeah.
later. But
Yeah.
also, it's not. She knows what's a lie. She doesn't know, like, sure, he may believe
Yeah,
that. Doesn't
she-
that?
But
She's
like
not
I guarantee
thinking,
if she
yeah.
stopped and thought back of like, oh my God, he said he
He
would
means
rather
it,
die
yeah.
than fail again, and he was absolutely telling the truth.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
That was
Yeah,
not hyperbole, but you can't translate into he's gonna jump immediately off this
Right,
building if
right,
I do
yeah,
this.
Right.
Yeah. I also like that we see a little bit of her family in this.
Yes. Oh, Clea
Yes.
Duvall is so good as her
Yeah.
sister.
Where do I know her from? She looked really familiar, but I didn't know her from anywhere. Clea
damn.
Duvall,
Carnival
Yeah.
back in the day.
I've never seen Carnival.
Oh shit.
She looks like other
She
people too. She
wrote and directed Happiest Season. I
oh,
think.
she's in The
I wrote it-
Faculty. I
Yeah.
probably saw her in The Faculty. But I think
she was in the dog show you hated.
She's
Fucking-
for a little
Oh,
while there,
God.
the running joke was that she played the secret lesbian and everything.
Oh, she's in the
okay.
Faculty.
oh, she's
Yeah.
in Better Call Saul.
And she's with Natasha Lyonne. She's in But I'm a Cheerleader.
Mm-hmm.
Is she
Okay,
the?
Yeah.
Oh, is she the? Yes. Oh, she is the secret lesbian in
Clea
everything.
Duvall.
Oh no! I know her from. She played Marjorie. In Veep. She was the
Yeah.
She was the Secret Service agent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's
she was
great.
in Ghosts
She's
of Mars.
great in basically everything.
And she was a secret lesbian in that too. Yeah.
But she has
Yeah.
she has a really great sister energy with Natasha Lyonne that
Yeah.
I like them as family.
Yeah.
I like them as two different hard cases
Mm-hmm.
out of the same dad.
Yeah.
I've never seen that on a TV before, of like the way she breaks down her problem of like, no, honestly, you have a good heart and I see why people like you.
But you're not good for me. Yeah.
You spend it on strangers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What
yeah.
an-
Like you're a fucking saint for people you don't know.
No,
but
Yeah.
but you
Because-
Yeah.
spend it on your family.
because Natasha Lyonne is more comfortable with people she doesn't know.
Well, and
Because
Absolutely.
she'll be
They're-
gone.
Well, and the efficiency of the language and the way that the show doles out information when she's like, look, there's a world where you stayed and we talked about what you did with your stupid truth bullshit
Mhm.
and
God, I wonder-
after dad died and like she
What did
clearly
she do to
blames
her
with
dad?
some-
Yeah.
she did
wonder-
something. Yeah,
I mean, on one level, I kind of don't need them to say it because you
No.
kind of like, yeah, if it was she wrote it on an affair or another,
Yeah.
something.
it's a thing of like you need to trust your parents for longer than she was able to.
And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I like the hint that I like that it hints at in your more strident 20s, like younger, I'm right about fucking everything, everybody's wrong.
Yeah.
If you also had that truth bullshit power,
Mhm.
you would call it in ways that are just obnoxious.
And
what I
yeah.
really
And like I can see her just wrecking lives.
She's
Yeah.
a much nicer person than she probably should be because she's a child that would not never believed in Santa,
Right.
just
Yeah.
never believed in any magic trick.
Oh no, because you'd
yeah.
always know the adult was lying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't enjoy acting
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
she doesn't really enjoy
movies.
theater or acting or
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
It's so she has all the joy, and then of course you put that into a personal level. Every child learns that their parents are fallible at some point, but when you learn that, I think is important.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
for
she's
sure.
always known. Also, just the one that like, well, how did you learn to? Well, yeah, Dad had a boat. He'd take us in the middle of the lake and then make us swim to shore.
Yep.
That was fun.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
what the fuck? And then she
Yep.
swims away.
Yeah.
And because and we're like, oh yep, because they established she can swim.
Yeah, and like, but you're really good at it, but you hate it. Like, yeah, well, I mean, what else are you gonna do when you're in the water?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
the Ryan Johnson loves a good put the lights out and a murder.
Oh yeah,
Like,
Yep. That was good.
God, that dude has watched a lot of Columbo.
the the Dick Talisman ring was hilarious.
Oh man, I love
the
it.
stupid
It
dress they put her
disappears
in.
and comes
Fuck
back.
Are you
Oh
wearing?
man,
Yes. And then it's the
But-
black light that helps her see the
Yep.
ship. Like,
Yes.
it's the talisman that'll. What have I done with the garden I was entrusted with?
but also when she loses it and gets it back, I was like,
Oh, yeah.
oh you poor.
And then she
And then
puts
she
it on again.
finger.
You fucking
Yep.
idiots.
Oh. Yeah, I love the call. Like, we get to see Cliff arrested for the murders of of her friend in the first
Yeah.
Terry and her friend in the first episode, which is great. We also get to find out conclusively that they got Constantine or whatever Kazanov, whatever the guy's name was, the
Yeah.
pedophile, I guess we're led to assume,
The email that she sent. Yeah.
to FBI.gov or Oprah and FBI and
Oh
FBI.gov
yeah,
and shit.
yeah.
I love the guy, like, I tracked that down and and I love that he
Got a promotion.
huge promotion off of it.
Yes, yeah.
And then does
We
it
didn't even talk about
again.
him. His
Yes.
bit here where he's like, yeah, I'm
Luca
just gonna keep stick
is
with you. Yeah.
great. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Well,
When he answers the phone and like turn yourself in, and I didn't catch it. I watched the episode twice. I didn't
He
catch
switched
it the
the
first
burner?
time. He switched phones.
he switches
Yep.
the
But
to a
then,
burner.
because the show doesn't want you
Yep.
to miss it, he actually says,
Between you, me, and a
between
burner.
You and me and this burner.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do
Yep.
not turn yourself in.
Yeah.
I
I
cannot
noticed
guarantee.
I noticed he had switched phones, but I also noticed when he called it out. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's
It was
pretty
great.
good.
And I that actor was really a fun choice for this.
Oh, he's yeah. And then the ending where basically Rhea Perlman we're getting a redux of
Yes.
a voice on the other line
Yes.
giving her, and this is the same offer he made to her originally. She's like she's thinking it over. She's like, well, I can go back in somebody's pocket again, and
Well-
I know what that life looks like.
Also,
And-
like Ron Perlman gave her the deal. She might have gone for it. It's not a horrible deal.
Like,
yeah,
I don't
it's
know
just-
you.
She did. Yeah, I
But-
don't know you. Yeah,
But also, she just tried to set her up for Ron Perlman's murder.
Murder. Yeah. Like,
Mhm.
So like, there's no Ron Perlman would be a tough pill to swallow. She might have swallowed it though.
yeah, but she
Yeah.
kind of
She's not gonna swallow it from
respect
from
for
some
that.
from some chick she does not know.
yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
do like the yeah, he still did surveillance on cassette tapes. We're a modernized crime syndicate.
Yes.
Like, no, I also it felt like it piggybacked on Perlman's speech about I like being good at something. It's fun to be good at something for bad reasons.
Yeah,
And like
Yeah.
that kind of fits.
I'm
in
good
with,
at running a casino for the exact same reasons I am bad at being a father.
Yeah, but like it's
Yeah.
kind of her like, you
Yeah.
know what? You may not want to hear this, lady, but I'm actually really good at living on the road like this for all the
Yeah.
reasons why I actually suck at what you're offering me.
Yes.
Stability.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
also, I mean, her just literally everything short of breaking the fourth wall when like, well, how long do you think we can keep this up? Let's find out together.
I guess we'll find out
It
together.
felt like the show just literally saying to the audience, like, well, how long can you keep doing these mysteries? Well, why don't we all find out?
Yeah.
Yep. Man,
Get in
I-
the fucking
I-
car.
I don't know
We're
how
going
long
to
they can do
solve
this.
mysteries.
I don't know how long Natasha Lyonne's
Forever.
going to want to stick with one role. I don't know how long Ryan Johnson's going to want to do all this. Like the amount of talent they've put on this thing. But man,
But it
I-
does seem like they've
I've
at least got a second season, I hope.
I can't. Yeah, the second season's already greenlit. So
Okay, good.
I
Forever. I
wait.
don't care. I want if I can't get a new Knives Out movie until like 5 years in between, then
Yeah.
I want fucking Poker Face every year.
Or man, if they sunset Poker Face after a second season, I want this to approve the format, and I want them to give me 2 seasons of Fletch.
exactly. Like we
Yes.
can't have a Fletch TV show.
Oh,
I want more Poker Face. Yeah.
Give me 20 episodes of John Hamm Fletch.
Benjamin Bratt watching Burn Notice.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Yeah,
You
well,
know
hey,
what?
Benjamin
That
Bratt
was-
just kills it through the whole thing, but him watching Burn Notice consistently
Yep.
is
That was-
hilarious.
That was cruel though because it reminded me about True Lies again. Because
Yes.
in watching it, I'm like, they
Yes.
showed me like 2 seconds of Burn Notice.
Burn
He's like,
Notice.
oh, he's like, I'm from Boom, from the Department of
Yeah.
Boom, and I'm like,
Boom.
man, and
This
reminds
is
me,
already
and-
better than True Lies. God damn it.
yeah, I was like, Matt Nix knows how to do this. What the fuck happened? Yeah,
Well, he also uses the line of like the trunk of the front seat, your choice, and
Yeah.
like it's a
Yep.
different variation because like if you're
Trunk
good,
of
you
the
have to be in the
Yeah.
And I love that it just hard cuts to her knocking in the trunk. Like, okay.
Yeah, she's like, never mind. I went
all
out.
right.
And then his dramatic reading
Of the hook.
the entire rap
man.
from Hook. By
When I
Blues
realized
Traveler.
what he was doing, oh my God.
Yeah, same. Like
Hook.
it brought tears to
It'll
my
bring
eyes.
it'll bring you back.
Fucking, and then her response is,
Inevitability.
"You are the fucking worst."
You are the worst.
The worst.
Which is the only response to someone in a car alone with you, making you say all that with no music playing.
And then the movie playing and the kids watching is
and then
Hook.
of course the kids watching Hook.
Yeah.
Her niece.
Man.
What a great season. Fuck.
What a great show. Yeah.
This show rules. I want to rewatch it immediately.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to do a rewatch of Poker Face at least once or twice this year. Next week is Ted Lasso, y'all. So we we're going.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
boy.
we
Can we kick it?
Believe.
That'll do it for us this week. Thank you, Les. Thank you, Nick.
Thanks, Randy.
Thanks, dudes.
And thank you to our patrons. Thank you to our listeners. Reminder, you can spend that $1 a week. Go to patreon.com/tvdudes. Listen to us talk. If you want to listen to us just rip the absolute shit out of one of the worst movies that we have seen. And I say this with two people who have watched the entirety of the Puppet Master series.
Know what I'm talking about.
Well, we can speak with some authority.
Yes. This is worse than Ginger Dead Man 2.
That is this week's Patreon.
This is
we'll
where
be getting
the
to that.
James Pickard movies we found. And so,
God. Yes.
But
yes.
That's the patron episodes. This is the end of the regular episode. Until next week.
TV Dudes out.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast out of Austin, Texas. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/tvdudes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is done by our friend and original TV Dude Gregory J. Amani Smith.
To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com. I'm Randy Lander.
I'm Les Weiler.
And I'm Kyle Scott.
Thanks for listening.